This video is about solving multi-step equations. Multi-step refers to that there are multiple steps in order to solve the equation. Solving an equation means getting one x by itself. I don't want to give you a list of steps to use for every type of problem that you might see. Instead, I want you to use your problem-solving skills. Think about what is present in the problem and what you need to do to get 1x by itself. There are some basics. First, simplify each side if needed. Second, get all of the x's on one side if needed. Then, get the x by itself. This is referred to as isolating the variable. Rules. What you do to one side, you must do to the other side. You have to maintain balance. Use reverse operations. We go in opposite order of operations to know what we need to undo. And to undo a number, we use the reverse operation of what's there. Let's look at our first example. 3x plus 5 equals 14. I want you to think of this equal sign as a wall. And the only way that we can get numbers back and forth between the wall is by using operations. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. 1. Simplify. I don't need to simplify either side. 2. Get all of the x's on one side. They already are. 3. Get the x by itself. We're going to get the x by itself by using reverse order of operations. Reverse order operations would tell us that we need to get rid of any addition or subtraction first. This is plus 5, so we need to get rid of the 5 first. We get rid of plus 5 by subtracting 5. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we subtract 5 from both sides. When we subtract side 5 from this side, the 5's cancel out and we're left with just the 3x. Keep that equals wall there. 14 minus 5 equals 9. Now we have 3 times x equals 9. We need to cancel this 3, and since it's 3 times 9, we're going to use divide 3. What you do to one side, you must do to the other, so we divide 3 on both sides. Those 3's will cancel and leave us with just an x equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. Our answer is x equals 3. Let's look at our second example. Our second example says 1/2 x minus 1 equals 4. I don't need to simplify either side. My x is only on one side. Now I need to get the x by itself using reverse order of operations. I need to undo any addition or subtraction first. Since it says subtract 1, I need to undo it by doing plus 1. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I add 1 to both sides. When I add 1 to this side, the 1's cancel, and I'm left with just the 1/2 x equals 4 plus 1 is 5. 1/2 times x equals 5. I need to get rid of this 1/2. We get rid of a fraction that's multiplying the variable by multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. Reciprocal means that we flip the numerator and the denominator. So since this is 1/2, the reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2 over 1. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1 on both sides. The 1/2 times 2 over 1 cancel, leaving me with the x. 5 times 2 over 1, and since 2 over 1 is just 2, 5 times 2 is 10. Our answer is x equals 10. In our next set of examples, we're going to have to do steps 1 or 2. Simplify or get the x's on one side. In this example, we have 2x plus 3 equals 4x plus 1. Step 1, simplify. Both sides are simplified. Step 2, get the x's on one side. I have x's on both sides. I get the x's all on one side by canceling the smaller number of x's. In this case, that would be the 2x. I need to cancel 2x. So, since this is a positive 2x, I'm going to subtract 2x. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I subtract 2x from both sides. Keep that equals sign in line. 2x minus 2x cancels, and all I'm left with is the 3, equals 4x minus 2x is 2x plus the 1. Now my x is just on one side. Step 3, get x by itself. Using reverse order of operations, I need to undo any addition or subtraction. This is plus 1. So to undo plus 1, I'm going to subtract 1. What I do to one side, I have to do to both sides. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. 3 minus 1 is 2. Keep that equal sign. The 2x stays, and 1 minus 1 cancels. So we have 2 equals 2x. Now we want to get rid of this 2. This is 2 times x, so to undo multiply, we divide. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other, so we divide 2 on both sides. 2 divided by 2 is 1, because anything divided by itself is 1. Those 2's cancel, leaving us with x. 1 equals x. In our next example, we have 3x plus 1 plus x equals 17. Step 1, simplify. I need to simplify because I need to combine my like terms. Like meaning common terms. So I need to combine these x's that are on the same side. 3x plus x is 4x. Because when there's no coefficient in front of the x, coefficient is a number in front of the x, it means that there's a 1. This is some math shorthand. So 3x plus 1x is 4x. And we still have the 1 equals 17. Step 2, get the x's on one side. Already done. Step 3, get x by itself using reverse order of operations. I need to undo any addition or subtraction. So I need to cancel this plus 1. To cancel plus 1, I will subtract 1. What I do to one side, I must do to both. So I subtract 1 from both sides. When I subtract 1 from this side, all I'm left with is 4x equals 17 minus 1 is 16. Now I want to get rid of this 4. This is 4 times x, so the opposite would be divide 4. What I do to one side, I must do to both sides, so I divide 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 leaves us with the x. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So our answer is x equals 4. This is the last and longest example I have. 4 times the quantity x plus 2 equals 2 times the quantity 3x minus 1. Step 1. Simplify. I need to simplify here. Whenever I see a number in front of a set of parentheses, I need to distribute that number in front. Distribute means that I multiply it to each term in the parentheses. So I'm going to do 4 times x is 4x plus 4 times 2 is 8. I do the same thing on the other side because I have another set of parentheses. So I do 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 1 is minus 2. Both sides are now simplified. Step 2. Get the x's on one side. We do that by canceling the smaller number of x's, which in this case is the 4x. So we subtract 4x from both sides. The 4x cancels, leaving us with the 8, equals 6 minus 4x is 2x, and the minus 2. Step 3. Get the x by itself. We use reverse order operations, and we need to undo any addition or subtraction first. This is minus 2, so I need to add 2. What I do to one side, I must do to the other, so I add 2 to both sides. 8 plus 2 is 10, equals 2x, and those 2's canceled out. Now I want to get rid of this 2. That's 2 times x, so I'm going to divide by 2. What I do to one side, I must do to the other, so I divide by 2 on both sides. 10 divided by 2 is 5, equals, those 2's cancel out, leaving us with just the x. 5 equals x is our final answer.